In this book, we start off with her being single, and then at the end, she's married to 3 guys. Because their father was actually garbage. I support women's rights and wrongs. Hey guys, so I read 11 books in the month of May. I'm actually very surprised because at the end of the month I was going through a reading slump, but it kind of makes sense. Like I read a lot of books, so during the end of the month I was slowing down. But this month I don't think there was a book where I was like, no, you shouldn't read it. Let's quickly go over the 11 books that I read in May, and then we're gonna pick our June TBR. Last month I didn't make a TBR or hopeful, so this month we're gonna do June hopefuls with our physical books. Last video you saw my shelf, and now it's like pretty much done. Do you like it? I actually really love my shelf. It's super duper cute. Without further ado, let's get into the 11 books that I read in May. So we're gonna start off with Diary Bound by Sable Sorensen. This is a romantasy book, and when I tell you guys, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. One of my book besties, Ash, hey girl, she went ahead and fairy mailed me this book. I actually kind of went into this book blind. I had no idea what the concept was. I ended up giving this book a 4-star. It really scratched that romantasy itch that I had. During this book, there were times where I was actually crashing out. I was very frustrated with our FMC Marin in this book, and I'm not going to say why because I don't want to actually give any type of spoilers. I think that you should read this if you enjoy romantasy. So I think if you're a fan of Fourth Wing, you will like this book as well. Not because there's a lot of similarities with the story, because when I think of Fourth Wing, I always think about the bonding that they have with dragons, and that's similar to this, but in here they're bonded with wolves. I feel like if you like romantasy with bonds and things like that, you will like this. Next, we have Fury Bound by Sable Sorensen. Diary Bound actually ends up on a cliffhanger, and I was actually itching for Fury Bound, and I'm so glad that I read it when I did because I only had to wait like a week until the second book came out. I ended up giving Fury Bound 4.5 stars as well. I actually did enjoy this book a little bit more than the second book. In this book, there was a POV of somebody that I really liked, so I was very happy about that. This book, I feel like there was definitely more action going on. A lot of things were happening, more high stakes, so I really enjoyed it. And that I will say about these books, I think it could have been a duology. I don't think that we need 3 books. There's going to be a 3rd book coming out next year. I will definitely be reading it. I am excited for it, but do I think it was necessary? No, but that's just my opinion. Another book that I read was The Windweaver by Julie Johnson. This book came onto my radar because I received the 2nd book in this series. I'm sorry if the lighting keeps on changing. I have the window open and the sun is here one second and then the next second it's not. The Windweaver is also a romantasy series. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. The first chapter was literally about her like being held hostage. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. How did we get here? What's going on? So it was really captivating. I feel like as the story kept on going, I was losing interest in what was happening with the FMC. Also, because it is a romantasy and there's this romance aspect, I'm still unsure about how I feel about this MMC that's in this book. I do believe that this is going to turn into a love triangle type situation, and I will say I'm currently on the second love interest side. But with that being said, the way that the first book ended, I will go ahead and read book 2. Obviously, I have it, and I kind of do want to see how this turns up. I will be going into the second book hoping that we get more of the second love interest because I just feel like he's the more bad boy character, and I just think he's helpful. Like, he's not going to shelter her. Next up, we have Married to the Mafia by Lucy Smoke. Now, you guys have seen this book because when I did my last video, I forgot what reading vlog this was in, but I showed this to you guys and you guys already know that I love this book. This is a dark mafia romance book. One thing that I loved about this book was there were titles on chapters. I don't know why they don't do this anymore. And in this book, there's a quote on every chapter. For example, it says, adulthood is literally the worst neighborhood you can ever live in. 0 stars, do not recommend. This book actually had me cackling. The romance was really good, and I liked how our FMC was a baddie. Like, she was not playing no game. She was handling business. Also, if you like morally gray characters, you're gonna really like this book because both the FMC and the MMC are morally gray. Okay, so the next 3 books I'm going to put in one group. I read Unhinged, Echoes, and Ravage by Steph Macca. Now, this is a dark romance series. There's one more book. I'm still in the middle of that audiobook. I haven't picked it up in a little bit, to be honest. I did tear up these first 3 books rather quickly. It's actually very unhinged. Hence the name of the first book. This is a Why Choose Dark Romance series. Now, the premise is that our FMC literally is put in like a mental facility, but it's giving jail. Obviously, everybody has issues. Definitely a lot of morally gray characters in here. If you don't know what Why Choose is, it's pretty much where instead of the FMC choosing one guy to be with and happy ever after, she can have multiple partners. In this book, we start off with her being single, and then at the end, she's married to 3 guys. It's actually crazy. All three of them are very likable. There's Damon, Gray, and Theo. My favorite would have to be Theo. At first, it was Gray because he's very charismatic. Yeah, Theo wasn't doing too much. Gray at some point was being very sassy, and I didn't like that. Read this book if you do like dark unhinged things. If you don't read this book at all. Don't be going in this book trying to make sense of anything. There's some crazy things that happen in this book where you're like, this is not even possible. Like, this doesn't make sense. Just ignore that and have fun, and you will enjoy this series. The next book is going to be Plant Lady by Min Young King. I really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I cannot wait for more people to read it and talk about it because I feel like it does have very important topics. Our main character Yuhi was such a complex character. I support women's rights and wrongs. I mentioned this in my reading vlog, but the chapters are longer. Every chapter is a story of an individual person and how they ended up meeting Yuhi to ask for help. I just want everybody to leave her alone, and I want her to live a happy life in her little plant shop. I was getting very annoyed with a lot of people, specifically the men in this book. The men in this book were garbage. Next book is Fated to the Warrior Alien by Aaron Hale. Now, you guys saw me read this book as well in my monster romance video, and this book was very cute. I feel like it could be a good palate cleanser. The book is very short, very low stakes, very sweet. I don't really have much to say. The only thing I would consider cringe in this book was the insta love. Like, it was very quick. You just gotta not think about it how I did, and then you'll be fine. Next is Tentacles and Triathlons by Ashley Bennett. This is my introduction to Ashley Bennett, and I'm very happy that I started with this because I will be reading the first book in this series as well as the third one. And when I tell you, I would never would have thought I had a crush on a Kraken. I never would. Cyrus was like the sweetest thing ever, but he had a little spice to him and I really liked it. I feel like it was a great balance for Reese because obviously he's a little rough around the edges, but with Cyrus, he's so soft and gentle and it was just so cute. The last book was Saving Jacob by Tessa Stone. Her Fated Maid series eats up. This is a dark paranormal romance series, and this is the third book in that series. Each book gets better and better because the plot is building. This one, our FMC is a single mom and she has 3 kids. The way that Jacob instantly takes them in, low-key, it was making me want to tear up a little bit. She has a son and his connection to Jacob was so cute because their father was actually garbage, actually trash. And it started kind of igniting my daddy issues a little bit. I was like, Shanti, calm down. Like, this is not your story. Okay, guys, so those are the 11 books that I read. We have to get into choosing our June TBR. I decided to put some bookish prompts in a wheel, and then we're gonna spin it, and based on what we get, we're gonna choose from our physical TBR. I counted recently, and I have 51 unread books on my TBR. This month, let's try to do 5 of my physical books. We're gonna try to do that. So we're gonna spin this wheel 5 times. The lighting is gone again. Anyways, let's see what our first prompt is going to be. A book that has been on your TBR the shortest time. I actually just received The King of Kearney by Navissa Allen. This prompt is pretty easy. Now I'm very excited about this because it's a dark romance and it's like a biker club romance. I've never read anything like that. The only thing I read from Navissa Allen is Lights Out. So we're gonna see how this is. Next spin. A book with a 1-word title. I don't know if I have that. Let's see. I was over here like, oh, I don't know. Y'all, I found 4 books. So the first option is Scythe. Fun fact, I have tried to read this book like 2-3 times. I don't know why I cannot get into it for some reason, but I really do want to read it. Second book is an arc that I have, which I'm kind of gearing towards this because I've been wanting to read it. This is Feast by Catherine Kurtz, and because it's about a poison taster, my mind immediately goes to Apothecary Diaries. Then I have Dampira by Amy Penza. Honestly, already started reading this book. I'm kind of also leaning towards this as well. I feel like I should just finish it. And we have Brimstone by Callie Hart. I'm kind of dreading reading this, so I don't think I'm gonna pick it. I decided I'm going to finish Dampira because it's kind of irking me that I stopped like in the middle of something really good. Also, because I'm technically in the middle of this and not gonna start anything new, I'm gonna add another book. I'm going to include Feast. All right, let's give it another spin. A book with over 500 pages. Chunky books are here. The Will of the Many by James Ossington. Hopefully I'm saying that right. This book has been on my TBR for a while, but when I got this, I really want to read it, and I still really want to read it. I think it's because the book is just so big, it's a little intimidating, so I haven't read it yet. Okay, then I have The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. Now this has also been on my TBR for a while. Then we have A Wild Reverence. I've heard that the yearning and the romance is really good. Decisions. I'm gonna try to read real quick like the first chapter of both of the books and see which one I like better. So I just read both of the first chapters and I'm definitely going to choose The Will of the Many. Let's go ahead and spin again. I'm actually having a lot of fun doing this. This has been very helpful in choosing what I'm gonna read. A book with flowers or plants on the cover. Okay, so I have a few books here. First is The Fiancé Dilemma by Elena Armes. I honestly haven't seen a lot of people talk about this book. This is definitely a contemporary romance. Then we have Thistlemarsh by Moria Corrigan. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. This has a bunch of flowers on it. Very beautiful cover actually. I already have like two fantasy romantic-ish books, so I don't know if I'm gonna pick this one for this month. Then I have The Poet Empress. There's some flowers along the edges of it. I think it's on the deeper side, but for the most part I've heard good things about it, so this might be an option. I'm going to choose The Fiancé Dilemma by Elena Armes. I feel like I definitely should add a contemporary romance for this month in here, since I'm going to be reading like dark romance, romantasy and stuff like that. This is going to be our last spin. Let's see what we get. I hope we get something fun and easy. Hopefully it'll lead towards another romance book, because there's some romances that I want to read. Book with magic or supernatural elements. I think I have the perfect book that I want to add to here. I recently received Strange Familiars by Keish Chow. Pretty sure this is categorized as like a dark academia book with romance in it, but the magical aspect is that there is familiars and magic. So I'm definitely going to choose this book based on the prompt. So these are my June TBR books. It definitely seems like I'm going to have a very fun June reading month. These are June hopefuls, not June 100% gonna read. But I feel like I will end up reading majority of these, just because I want to come back and say that I read majority of them. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.